Okay. All right. So we're recording and we'll get a copy of this one up on YouTube tonight. Thanks, Annabelle, for joining us. And I appreciate you making the time. I know it's madly busy with kids back at school and all the rest of it. Michelle, thanks for coming on, and Fiona. Has anyone, before we kick off, has anyone got any questions just off the back of last week? Michelle, anything that you'd like to ask or need answered? Annabelle, Fiona?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no. Pretty good. Thanks.
I did post today, just out of interest, that the Australian Tax Office have now requested doTERRA to collect ABNs for anyone who is silver ranked or above. So that's now an Australian tax ruling in Australia that they now understand the business. And on the basis that anyone who is silver ranked is probably going to be earning more than the threshold on income, you now have to provide an ABN as self-employed, and those will be collected by corporate. So as soon as people get to a silver level, you will be asked to provide that. So it's no major issue, but just keep it in mind as your business is growing that you're probably going to need some tax advice and talk to an accountant at some point. So just be aware that they will ask for it, all right? Great. So what we'll do this evening, and we'll see how we go time-wise, I've asked Annabelle to join because Annabelle's been using LeadTrain for a while now. Annabelle, how long have you had it?
I think I got it in about October.
Great. Okay. So I've asked Annabelle to share. Yep, sorry.
No, it's okay.
So I've asked Annabelle to share what works really well for her and practically how she uses it. And from there, I will share a little bit around the Fiitfu system, which is the other one that we've been using. And then, depending on how we go time-wise, I'll just quickly show you what we've done, because we still use MailChimp for our newsletters and for the gathering of information and new subscribers through our website, because that has just been a little bit easier. So, hi, Bernie. Thanks for joining us. All right, so Annabelle, I'm going to pass the reins over to you because you've shared your desktop screen. If you want to dive in and give us an overview of how it works for you and what it does, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So I also still use MailChimp as well for my newsletters because I was already using that for my What Annabelle Cooks newsletters. So I was already familiar with that, but I am starting to think I possibly don't need that for the oils. I could bring, really what I use it for from the oils point of view is sending the initial hi, welcome to the team newsletter, but I could easily set that up in LeadTrain, but I haven't got around to that yet. And if I do want to send bulk email to my team, I use MailChimp, but again, I can use LeadTrain. I just haven't done that yet. So I guess probably a bit like Craig, I'm still using it too, and I'm probably more familiar with that. So whilst I've been using LeadTrain, so this is probably 4 or 5 months, I didn't really use it much over the holidays, so but I've been getting back into it in the last month. And what I found, so it's a contact management system. I've never used one of those before, but I was getting a bit overwhelmed with trying to work out how to manage my team and my leads and, how do I don't know, I couldn't keep it all in my head anymore or on bits of scraps of paper. So I watched a webinar and thought I'd give it a go, and I was impressed. It's by no means perfect, but they're pretty onto it and changing and hearing feedback and responding to, developments that need to happen. You can see, so I've shared, this is the dashboard. You can see, I'll just show you the tabs. So basically the dashboard opens up and it shows you what tasks you've got to do. But I'm going to start by showing you the contacts. That's probably the main, this is what I see as the main, certainly the most initial benefit in using LeadTrain has realising that I know a lot more people than I thought I did, and I haven't actually spoken to a whole lot of them about the oils, whereas I feel like I've inundated everyone I know. So I found it a really useful tool to import all of my contacts from my email basically I imported it all from Gmail, and that was really easy. But you end up with sort of 500 or however many people. You might have 1,000, I don't know, however many people on your email. So it makes you realise you actually do know a whole lot of people. And then it just puts them into this tab here, which is prospects. So a prospect is someone that potentially at some point you could, that you know them, or you've got a contact detail for them, and at some point you might decide to share the oils in some way with them. Then you've got leads. So we've got prospects, lead team, and so these are people you're really actively sharing with, or you might have invited to a class, they might have come to a class, you might have given them a sample, and so these leads, just like with the team, can go on a track. I'll explain that next. So, for example, I'll go into my friend Michelle. I've given her a couple of samples for her child. You can go into activity. You play anyone that's in a lead or a team is on a track, which means that you basically put them in a series that can be a combination of email, text, phone, follow-up, but it's a way of tracking their journey, I suppose, through doTERRA, hopefully ending up with an enrolment, and then you can move them over into your team, and then you can put your team through like an education series, or you can put them through different tracks depending on what information to people. So my friend Michelle samples, I've put on a sample track, which I've set up, which I'll show you some of the tracks, but it's basically you say, hi, thanks for requesting the sample, or, that oil I gave you the other night at dinner, here's how to use it, and I'm going to send you a couple of emails on the different oil. So I've set up basically like pro forma documents, I suppose, and then you just action them as they prompt you to. But I'll show you that too. So it's a way of organizing your lead, and your team is the other tab. So this just loads up everybody that's in my team, and it's them in order of who next needs following up. So with I suppose the most pressing follow-up at the top, so someone who I haven't checked in with for a while. You can see bulk actions. So you could do a bulk in an email. I have used it for that. I could use LeadTrain. I think I'll start to do that more. So there's a few bulk action activities you can do. Groups, I've put a few groups, but I haven't really known what to do with that yet, to be honest. I've really been using leads and team the most. And so the next one is track. So these you can see here, you can either lead track or team tracks. So these are the different lead tracks, and I've tidied this up a bit because when you do subscribe to LeadTrain, you have access to the broad LeadTrain community, and many people share their tracks. So each track has a code. If I wanted to say my Annabelle sample track, I could share that. You see there's a share button, and place it in the community, and anyone could copy that, or my team could copy it. If I've got builders that want to follow the same, use the same, basically replicate, we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. If they wanted to replicate, then I could share the track. I guess I could share the track privately with them, just give them the code, or you can put it publicly in the community where everyone that's subscribed to LeadTrain can have access to that. So I have played around with other people's tracks and got different ideas from how people have put the process and adapted them myself. Mish Pope has just recently, I think, really gotten into LeadTrain, and she's put together a sample template that I've purchased. So that's not one that I would share because it's a paid one. I wouldn't do that to her. But, so I don't know if other people are selling their tracks, but they're certainly available. You don't always have to start from scratch yourself. You can get ideas from the community, and certainly something that appeals to me, that if I did have people in my team who were also subscribed to LeadTrain, then we certainly could share and replicate information. But I think this is probably a good one to show you because I have actually spent a bit of time trying to get this right. So this is my sample track. And so instead, this is the path people want to go on. So if people requested a sample from a sample page, then you can click on that and there's an email that I've set up. Thanks for contacting me. Are you working with it? Just shoot that email to and then it'll prompt you in 1 day time. You can see you can set up the length of time before it prompts you to the next step, and you've got total control over that. It doesn't do it automatically. Like MailChimp can have some auto emails, so after 3 days they'll send this, and then after another 7 they'll send that. LeadTrain doesn't have that. You've actually got to manually send it, which has its ups and downs. Some of that's good because you think, oh no, actually I spoke to that person on the phone, I don't need to send them that, this particular email. But the downside is if you're not on top of it and checking in with LeadTrain on, a pretty regular basis, then people get forgotten. Or what's happened to me is that people got forgotten over Christmas, so now I'm sending them messages, particularly in my team saying, sorry, I abandoned you over Christmas. Here's the next email in your education series. So it goes from sample, through to, you can send them another email saying, hi, you sample away, look forward to connecting with you. Then I switch them over to another track, which is the top 4 track, which is the top 4 uses of each different oil. So if I've sent them balanced in tune, for example, then I just stuck into here and I got so balance, I just send them this email. So how to use balance, different ways to use them, set up top uses for, and not well, all the ones really that I'm sending samples for or have sent samples for so far. Which is great. You're not then retyping. If you're editing it to personalize it, it's like a pro forma document, which is great, and a logical order. Am I going too fast or too slow?
No, I think if people can get an overview of what's there, then that's great, because if they want to look more, there are a lot of videos available on YouTube, or they can contact you and just ask further questions. So that's cool. We'll carry on and give everyone an overview.
Okay. So this is team track. So the main team tracks that I'm using are this, this needs a bit of tidying up, but this new Wellness Advocate Education Series track, where I just have put together, things that are new and getting started, how to access your account, an overview on the top 10 oils, the rules for dilution, which go in the original email to them as well, but it's a bit of a reminder. A follow-up, checking that people are actually using their oils. And any of these steps you can either do by email, by text, or you could phone them, or you could do it in person. It gives you the option, and you can just basically check it off and move them to the next step. Or you can skip steps. If you think, oh, this person doesn't actually need that step, you can just skip the step. So to me, that's a really handy, the tracks are really helpful, because then you can actually track back and see what has this individual person been told, what information have I given them, because that appears in their unique history if you're not sure. Like I said before, there's lots of, some tracks I'd forgot. This like doTERRA blends, I could have really used for my top 4 uses. I forgot that I'd actually, imported the track, but someone else had done it, and they've gone through and actually really done a bit like the top 4 users, pretty much copied it off the doTERRA website. But handy little things to send someone who's using Claricum. I'll put you an email, here's the information, which is great. There's an events tab, which I haven't really used yet. So there's quite a lot of features here that I have used. just try to work on the ones that and get my head around the ones that I've needed help with so far. So you can set up events and people can respond to that, and then they get added in automatically as a prospect. So it all integrates together. Social media, I've only just started using, but actually you can set, I've been using it for my 30-day challenge, so I can schedule posts. Haven't really used it a lot yet for doTERRA, but I did a lot of this today and it was fantastic. So for example, I'm running a 30-day challenge with What Annabelle Cooks. I'll just show you. I'm going to edit because this is quite helpful. So you just upload your image. So this was my day 16 image. They do have their own stock images that you can use from as well. And there's a base online edit here if you want your own text. I tend to use Canva or Word Swag. All these little docs with all these days, whatever's, we're all done on Word Swag. But I do use Canva a lot, and then you can just import your own images. You type in your message, you know, this is just a blurb that you want to appear on your social media post. You can make it public or private. I've made these private because, you know, this is just my 30-day challenge. If I made it public, it would be available to the LeadTrain community. So it's a very sharey community. You can, if I did a post about DigestZen, for example, and I was happy to make that public, then other people could use that. So probably a good idea to put your own watermarks on your images. So you can save that, and then what you can do is, I'll show you how to shares. So it connects up to your Facebook account or Twitter. I use Twitter. It doesn't connect to Instagram, pretty much not. It's hard to schedule posts to Instagram, but it's actually connected to everything within Facebook. Like all the my personal profile, the pages I run, the groups, you know, I'm an admin for an events that I'm going to. So if I had a DigestZen post and I wanted to post it to What Annabelle Cooks, my 30-day challenge, because people need help with digestion, and VIP group, and my public group, and my, you know, the monthly, you know, I could actually schedule the one post if I wanted to. I mean, you might not want to spam everyone that much, but to multiple pages or multiple, you know, avenues on Facebook, and you can post now or you can schedule for later. So I think I'm going to use that more and more. I think that's actually really handy.
That's great.
So that, yeah, I think that's good. Oh, here we go. So you can actually browse. These are recent posts that are the public posts. So you can go in and use these images. So there's core posts. I'm sure what's going to say there, but Heba Elkin, she's pretty much, I think, the LeadTrain person in Australia. So she runs proper webinars on how to actually, like, training people to actually use LeadTrain. So I can put you in touch with her if you want to know more, like more than what I can tell you. But there's access to this sort of great community of information. I think, Craig, you wanted me to show you this. This is, you automatically get access to 3 sort of web pages through LeadTrain. One is a home page. So if you actually don't have a website, it could be a useful thing. You can set up a basic home page. I haven't done it, so I've got other websites, but you've got a small amount of, I guess you can put an image and some information and maybe link up to your doTERRA website.
Sure.
But the samples one is the one I've started to use. And so what you can then share just a sample page on social media. And I did this today in a group, in an event I'm running on essential oil class and stress. And I just said, if you can't make it to the class, but you want to try a sample for stress and emotions kit, like sample kit, then just go buy. I already had one. almost instantly actually request samples through the page. So you can set up whatever you want to say about getting free samples, and then you can put in, I just added this in today, Dress and Emotions kit. It was part of the thing I bought from Niche, but I had previously had, peppermint, digestive, whatever you want to give regular samples, On Guard. And if someone clicks that I like to try this, they just enter their name, email, phone number, and then you'll get an email into your email saying someone's requested a sample, and it also pops up into LeadTrain, into the dashboard, saying somebody's requested a sample. So then that puts them automatically on the sample track. So you can start immediately sending them an email that says they're requesting a sample, and going there. So I think that's quite handy. You can, it was pretty, relatively quick and easy to set up. You just got to upload an image and decide what text you want to put in there. You can copy the link. You can, so that you can just share that link wherever you want to. And there's an events page as well. So if you don't have a website, it's probably not a bad way to got home events that you've got coming up and a sample page. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
This just, when you sign up, you can become an ambassador and work with other people. They sign up. They sign up through your referral, then you can get some commission for that. And then just basic settings. So that's back to the dashboard. If you come up here, I'm just going to show you. I've got to remember how to actually get to the community. Open community. Because, can I show you quickly the community?
Yeah, sure.
If it's connect, I might have. I think I'll re-log in.
I know there are quite a few.
Anyway.
Sorry, I know there are quite a few of Mish's team over in WA that are now getting involved as well. And Heber is a doTERRA Silver, I think. So you'll find a lot of doTERRA information and sort of pre-built pages and stuff. So if there's a community, I'm sure that'll keep growing with doTERRA info.
Yeah, I think so. LeadTrain's not doTERRA specific.
No.
It's with a number of different multi-level marketing companies. But anyway, I won't go in. There's plenty. The community's quite active. There are, like I said, sharing tracks and images, and they're very, very quick back to you when you need, and you online help. Just on the website, a bit like doTERRA, and if not, they do get back to you fairly quickly. So I found them responsive. It's by no means, I don't think it's complete yet. I think sometimes there are things that can be a little bit clunky to navigate around and sort of backtrack around, but I found it helpful to manage the contacts and to find a way to communicate on a regular basis with people without getting myself too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I think I've got I could spend more time tidying this up more, and I think the more you use it, the more you realise how you want to use it. So, you've got to go back and fix things up.
But I think the nice thing is that it's very flexible and customizable. And as you get other ideas from other people, you can integrate that. But certainly the big advantage is you've got everyone in one place, and you kind of know where they are in the timeline, because as you get more and more people and the team grows, you can fairly easily lose track of when someone joined and what you've told them, and perhaps when they should be contacted again, or a reminder or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. It's easy to lose people. So I'm glad I started, when whilst my team hasn't been huge. I suppose the catch-22 is if you start when your team's small. I think it's $25 a month, the subscription. You can pay an annual fee and get about $50 off over the year. I'm just paying month to month. So if you start with a small team, then it'd be much easier to keep track of everything as it grows.
And you've just got to decide whether it's the investment in what you're getting in return is something that's going to make you more efficient and that you're genuine about wanting to use it. And
Yeah.
that's fine. And there are certainly other systems around, but that's great. I think it's
and they offer a 3-month trial, like most places will. I mean, most things will, I say. So that's what I did, 3-month trial, and then by the time you've invested all the time invested, importing everyone and figuring it all out, you think, oh, well, I might as well just keep going.
I'm on it. I'll stick with it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Can you just unshare your screen and then I'll share mine? So if you go right to the top, I think you've got an unshare option.
Yeah, stop share. Yeah.
Okay, great. So folks, what I'll do is I'm going to share my screen and I'll just show you what Fiitfu looks like, and you'll probably see a fair bit of similarity in looking at Fiitfu. So let's just do a share screen. So can you all see the picture of Tess?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let me just move that out there. So this is the Fiitfu dashboard. Everyone starts with a dashboard somewhere, and like Annabelle's one, on the center of the screen, it throws up and gives you reminders of things that you probably need to do today or what's coming up. Don't worry about my overdue ones. Yep, we'll worry about them later. But when I imported, because we had 4,000 people in the team, when I imported hundreds and hundreds of people, it automatically created follow-ups. So there's a whole heap there. But that's fine. I'm working my way through it. So let's run through briefly what's here. What's really cool, if you're looking for someone fairly easily, pop in the name and you can access your contacts just as Annabelle's got her contact list. You can do the same thing, and there's Craig, who I've just put in as a demo, and it gives you all the information on Craig. If I want to get his phone number and contact them, it's all there. So when you set up Fiitfu at the start, just as you do with LeadTrain, there are a number of things that you will do to kind of set the baseline of what your business is all about. So the first thing that you do is, as LeadTrain talks about tracks, Fiitfu talks about funnels. So you create a funnel in which you put someone, depending on what you've done with them. So what we've done in our example is we've set up a funnel where we've given someone a sample. We've got a new wellness advocate who we've signed up, and we've just got someone who's got an interest because they've sent us a message through a website. So where we've got a given sample, for example, we've created certain steps in that funnel, and this basically tells me if we've given a sample, it'll prompt a message in 8 days, and it'll just be a prompt reminder to call the client and follow up with them in 8 days. So you can add to that. You can add in, as the LeadTrain option, you could add in as an email, send them an email and do whatever you want, okay? For the new wellness advocate, what we've set up in our one is a much more comprehensive process. And this is probably the difference between Fiitfu and LeadTrain. Fiitfu is actually an emailing system. It will email the people, and it'll do it automatically like MailChimp does if you pay the extra with MailChimp to automate it. So once you've created the templates in Fiitfu and you put someone on a funnel or in a funnel, so as soon as someone signs up as a new wellness advocate, they will get immediately the doTERRA welcome email. And just to show you, I'll just flick through and stop share, and I'll just share. So can you all see the picture of the essential oil bottles? Okay, so that's a template that we've built for new wellness advocates who've joined, and Fiitfu sends that out automatically. And it's got integrated in it a video that they can click on and watch, tells them about their logons, tells them to go. So it's the standard email, but it is completely automated and is done by Fiitfu automatically, all right? So, okay. So you can see those are the steps in our new wellness advocate. So it sends out the first welcome email. Then we've got a second automated email that goes out 7 days later. And that one says, hey, join our Facebook group. Remember, this is how you use the oils, etc. And then there's a third welcome email that goes at 2 weeks. And that one talks about where to get all the accessories, where to buy the sample bottles, get the app and download it on your phone. So you can create whatever you want in the process. And then we've created a task at 30 days to give them a call and follow up and talk about LRP. So all of these, when you put someone on a track, they will show up in your dashboard at the start. So for example, I've just created a task for myself as a test, send an email out, and it'll come up today. So I'll just show you what I actually did is, can you see my email now? Stop and share screen. So you can see my iCloud email? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how that welcome email pops up in the inbox. So you can see it looks fairly professional. This is sent automatically by Fiitfu. No issue at all. It just kind of happens, which is great. So it is possible to stop them. And if you keep on top of it, it will, you know, if you know that they're coming up in your calendar daily, you can just pop in and stop emails from being sent, because they will show up in under upcoming. It'll actually show you everything that's coming up over the next few days. So yeah, for example, there's an automated email that's going to go out on the 16th of February. If I want to stop that, I can just update and terminate it. Okay, so that's really easy. The other thing that's great is if, for example, I've got a contact in here as a lead, and I'll just go back to Craig. Because it's an integrated email system, and if you've got templates that you've already built in there, I can actually just say, well, there's Craig. I want to send Craig a message, and I can use it like an email system. So instead of opening Outlook, I can now type in an email message, and it'll automatically send it to the person that I want to send. And you can create signatures and do whatever you like. Or if you've got those templates already set up, so if this person just wants to know how to buy doTERRA, I've got an automatic template that we've set up on, this is how you would get hold of it. Thank you for your interest. And I've set a button in there that automatically clicks and connects to Tessa's page. And I just hit send, and it will actually now immediately send that email to Craig, and it will come into, well, it's gone. So the email's already been sent, which is really cool. So that's kind of the part that I use the most, especially because it does connect to a Gmail calendar and an Outlook calendar. You can actually feed those tasks into your diary. And what I will do is I'm just going to show you something else. Okay, AirPlay. All right, can you all see my my phone?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Fiitfu has an app on the phone. So wherever I'm going, if I'm taking my phone with me, I don't need a desktop, and I can access everything on my iPhone in the same way. So I've got follow-up emails, for example, and this is the client that I need to give a ring and chat to about LRP, so I can use this on a daily basis. If I've got a new client that I come across and I want to give them a sample, I can just simply type in their name, Tess, and if I'm handing her a sample, I can add her in, and immediately I can actually save the client, and then I can actually create a task for Tess, who I've just added. And I can say tomorrow on the 10th of February, I want to call Tess. So from that point of view, Fiitfu is really cool and mobile. So tomorrow when I go into my tasks, it will have a message, please call Tess. So I've really just used it for that, keeping all the information, tracking everyone in a funnel, but then automating everything so that if we want emails to go out, we know that it's all going to happen. All right, so let me just stop sharing that one. Okay, so the other thing is, it obviously, as Annabelle said, it keeps a full record of everybody and everything that we've sent to people. So if ever we want to go back and see, oh, what did we send to Christy? You can pop in and actually see the messages that have been sent. And if you want to refer to anything and you talk to the person once you've sent it to them, it's easy enough to find all of that info. Okay. It does have a calendar function, as I said. So this will connect to Gmail or any other calendar. And you can just click on and it'll tell you whatever those are and click through. So it's very handy. The other thing that it does have, and this is where, Annabelle, I think you've started using it as for the pages idea. It also has the similar capacity to set up sort of the web page forms. And they actually, when you sign up to Fiitfu, they ask you which group you're part of. And if you're part of doTERRA, you actually get the doTERRA samples built in. So this, for example, can you all see that, the doTERRA picture with oils? We good? Okay. Yeah. So this is basically just a sample form like Annabelle's one, which I can now use the link at the top and post that in Facebook, in a Facebook ad or anywhere I want to. And if anyone came to that site from an ad, I can edit all the questions, and it's got options for tick boxes, similar to what LeadTrain does. And they can say, cool, I really want that. I want a sample. I'll give you my contact details, and it'll do the same thing. It puts the person's info into the back of LeadTrain. It creates the tasks for me to follow up and tells me that they're looking for samples. So from that point of view, it's very, very similar. I think probably the biggest difference is the idea that it does it automatically for you. But with both of them, as I see it, you've got to do a fair bit of work around preparing and setting it up. In this one in particular as well, when you start off, you create the different types of contacts. So for example, as Annabelle's got prospect or leads prospects team, you can do exactly the same. What we've just done is got prospects, and then we've created team or a client, and then we've called them whoever our builder is and who's underneath them. So that if I'm trying to remember who's in which team, because we've got 6 builders or 5 builders, I've just created titles for each of those. So when I go and look up someone, I can see whose team they're part of, and we can follow them back and realize who they are. So you can get into a fair bit of detail around that. But other than that, that's kind of what I wanted to share on Fiitfu. And I think if people are looking for ideas around what to do, then certainly both of them are options. Is anyone using any other software at this stage?
No.
Okay. Who's using MailChimp? Michelle, are you using MailChimp yet?
No, but I'm actually I'm really glad that you guys spoke about this tonight, because the other day, I used to work in a corporate job, and I'm used to spreadsheets and stuff. And the other day I was doing a spreadsheet, and I'm like, this is just way too tedious. I'm really struggling to keep on top of everything now, because I'm still working full time as well. So yeah. This is great. Thanks so much, guys. It's awesome.
Okay, that's cool. So what I will do, let me just do a screen share again. Okay, so can you see my MailChimp log on? It's busy logging in.
Yep.
Okay, so we still use MailChimp, which is a bit strange, but I suppose the main reason why we use it is we still run a monthly newsletter, and we send that out to 300 odd people. This is the February newsletter, and although I can do it now in Fiitfu, I can go and create the templates. Because I'm lazy and I've got the templates already in MailChimp, I actually keep duplicate databases in both, and I export and import and just make sure they match. The challenge with that is if anybody unsubscribes, I've got to be really careful because I don't want to be spamming someone who may have unsubscribed. So at some point, I'm going to have to move this across to Fiitfu and automate it there. But just for those who haven't used MailChimp, I think it's a really good place to start. The reason I say that is when we started off, we created a group or a list in MailChimp, Health, Wealth, Happiness, which is our website name. And there's 230 people sitting there at the moment still who have expressed interest or are prospects and who still get information. So this can become your CRM. It can become your client system. So you can just simply add, you can create whatever information you want to keep on them by editing that, but it's easy enough just to add somebody and keep this as your list of people and how to contact them. And then there are a number of people already certainly within our group, and in our Facebook page, I've actually shared all of our MailChimp templates. So the new member template, there's an LRP template, there's an Are You Interested in Oils template, there's a retail purchaser template. And you can go and get those and actually import them into MailChimp. It's reasonably easy to just import it. So we've got, for example, this is a whole list of templates that we've used over time. And once you set it up, it's just really, really simple to add somebody and send them a really cool looking welcome email or to follow up with them. So it's not a bad idea to keep contact with people. It's not a proper contact management system because it's not going to prompt you to do anything, but it's a good place to store all the information and just keep a record of kind of keeping on track of people. What I did when we were just doing MailChimp, I did keep a spreadsheet, Michelle, same as you. But the only reason I kept a spreadsheet was to have people's names and then create next to it dates of when I sent them stuff so that I could actually see my own funnel or train, I suppose, which is what LeadTrain does for you. And in that way, kind of keep track of what's there. We tried, before we got into Fiitfu, we actually automated MailChimp as well because you can pay, I think it's $10 a month to automate it. And when you automate, you can actually, for new people, send 3 or 4 emails over a period of time if you want to. So that's up to you. But I would really suggest at least the welcome email, make sure that you make it look fairly impressive and nice. So if you want to do that on Outlook or Gmail or whatever, that's cool. But if you want to get to the point of doing something that's starting to look, really like a newsletter or a decent welcome or something that's probably a little bit more smarter with hyperlinks and video or links to it, then you really do need to have a look at using a MailChimp type plan or solution to send those messages out. All right. Does anyone have any other questions around, I suppose, CRM or keeping information, or who's maybe got a different way of keeping track of things at this stage? Mannion, can I ask you, what are your thoughts? What are you using at the moment?
A diary.
That's fine. Yep.
I just find it, I don't know, just, yeah, I don't know if I'm at, like I offer, it's sort of every few weeks, like just, to the first 3 or 4 people, comment on, what sample would they like to try and what they use it for. And then, I just sort of message them and get their address and send it off and send off information and then sort of follow up with them about a week or so later. So I have had a couple of people enroll as well since I've been doing that way, but I don't know, I suppose I'm not, I don't know, that it all looks a bit daunting. I mean, Mish did that webinar thing the other week and I didn't get to watch it or see it, and obviously now I'm getting heaps of emails from that.
Heather, yeah.
Annabelle. Yeah, about it. But, you know, I'd like to sort of do that, but just yeah, it's like where you started. It all seems a bit
Sure. I think,
yeah,
I think you're right. You know, we certainly don't profess to tell everyone that you've got to have this automated system and everything. And I know Tess's preference. Tess doesn't use Fiitfu. She wouldn't know where to go and look at it because it's not her scene. But we've got a little whiteboard next to the computer here with notes all over it, which replicate everything that I've got in Fiitfu, because she prefers that, because she doesn't miss anything, because she's got her diary and her whiteboard. So as long as you don't miss anything, and as long as no one falls through the cracks, and if your diary system's working, fantastic. Don't change it. If at some point you want to change, then cool.
Yeah, well, I probably would, but you know, I'd have to. You know, I'm more of a, like, you know, I'd have to sort of sit down with someone, and they'd have to sort of run me through. I mean, it's okay looking at it on the screen there, but I'm more of a, yeah, I'm obviously more of a, yeah, someone sitting down with me and running through,
Sure.
running through it where I can, you know, yeah, it's sort of, yeah, just a bit overwhelming.
I agree.
All that, and you know, I'm even struggling now sometimes just to keep up with all the videos I need to be watching and
Yeah.
you know, things that have been done. It's like,
No,
oh
you're
gosh,
right.
you know, yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's cool. And you know, I think if you're going to use it, you need to use it to make it easier for you, not to make things more difficult and not to create extra work. But certainly if anyone needs any extra information on the event at the bottom, I'll post again. Annabelle's name's on there anyway. So certainly if you want to reach out and get some more information or videos on Fiitfu or LeadTrain. As Minion said, there was a really good webinar that Mish Pope and Heba Ella Kim ran probably 3 weeks ago. You can just go and look for Mish's YouTube channel. It is up there, or look for Mish on Facebook. Great, it's a great overview webinar. Otherwise, reach out to Annabelle. Between us, happy to connect and do a Zoom chat if anyone wants to kind of look at it in a bit more detail. I think the Fiitfu is probably a little bit cheaper. It's 19 US. Oh, so it's about the same, 25, yeah. So, but then Fiitfu doesn't do the social media integration bit. So it depends. If you want the social media side, then certainly LeadTrain with the web integration and social media is great. If you're looking for that integration of email and automated, then Fiitfu is what sort of I like. And Yura and PJ, who you may know as well, I've started using Fiitfu predominantly because of automation as well, I suppose. So has anyone got any other questions? Otherwise, I think we'll kind of leave it there. It's 8:20. I'm not going to go too much more unless anyone's got questions around the business side or anything around things they might need to have answered at this stage. There's a dog who's got a question somewhere.
Actually, sorry, just one question I had.
Sure.
Because I'm tossing up whether or not, because you know, I looked at obviously the LeadTrain and that and you know the what you have to pay for that, and I sort of thought, well, you know, one of my well, she's in my team, Georgia, she does designs websites, and you can pick, you know, what you want. There's I think 3 different websites you can design, and you sort of think, oh well, am I better off spending, you know, the money, whatever it was, $750 or $800 to get her to design a really good website? And is there a way that she can incorporate, you know, obviously putting up something where people can request samples and, you know, just stuff like that? So I don't know, it's sort of the pros and cons. Do I look at a system like this, or do I concentrate first on getting a website, you know, set up and using that?
Sure, and I think you've got to just decide what's going to work for you in attracting additional prospects. We at the point that we do both, and I think Annabelle, you're the same. You've got a website and you're using a system as well. What you can do certainly is if you go down the website route, you can connect it to MailChimp, and you can collect people's information, and then MailChimp doesn't cost you anything. So you can do the website, you can have forms on the website, you can ask people all the questions, you can connect your Facebook to your website and take people there, and you can obviously share with them a lot more information, and then they can tick boxes and put in their information, and that can all go into MailChimp, and you'll get an email every night saying, these 3 people have put their information in and are looking for samples. So you can do that, and then you've got a website and a free database system that you can then use to send them emails if that works. So that we kind of started at that point. And you just got to decide whether you're going to get the value out of having a website and building it, because then you've got to use social media and business cards or whatever to get people to go to your website to look at information. Otherwise, you're going to have a lovely website, but no one's going to know it exists. And so you've got to have a plan.
I've sent, like, she sent us a link of her website that she set up, and it's pretty good. And her prices are quite reasonable as well.
Sure.
You know, compared to, I think she did put a post up. I think she might have put it on your page.
I did see it, That's cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something you've just kind of got to decide, because if you're going to run with $25 a month, you're going to spend, $300 in a year just to have a system, or do you build yourself a website that's going to last you the next 5 or 10 years, that you learn then how to edit pages or whatever? She can build the structure, and you then learn how to make changes to content and kind of get your head around it. But I think either way, it's got to fit into your marketing plan, and it's got to fit into how you contact and talk to people, and how people are going to then get to your site and put their information in. So there's no right or wrong answer. I think, it's a bit of a what do they call it? An opportunity cost calculation. How much is it going to cost me to do that, and what am I, getting on the other side? So but certainly website, good idea.
Oh, Michelle, I just saw your question, Michelle. I think her basic website starts around the $250 mark, $300 mark.
Wow.
Yeah. She had three different levels. Like the top one was like you could link if you like sold other things. Like me, I just sell diffusers and stuff like that, so you can link a shop to it, and people can buy from your website. And so that was the top one, and I think it was like 8 pages or 9 pages, whatever she does, or tabs, whatever it is.
Sure.
And then I think the middle one was maybe $500 or so, $600, but they were quite reasonably priced. I think I've got the prices somewhere in a group message.
Well, if you want to, just post that in the event as well, and ask her to share it in our group as well if anyone's interested in having a look. That's cool. What I'll do then is, I've just put into the comments, but I'll put it into the event as well, a link to some more information on Fiitfu. And Annabelle, if you want to pop your link in around Fiitfu, around LeadTrain as well, then we'll put that information in the group. And if anyone's looking for info, I'll add that into the recording of this video as well. So if anyone's got any questions, reach out and ask. We're not saying, as I said earlier, that you have to have a system, but just have a system, as in either an Excel spreadsheet or a diary or digital, whatever works for you. Because I'm still amazed now, and it's really interesting, because Tess has obviously been in Fiji with 178 other doTERRA people, and they've been talking, and it's amazing how many people have a wholesale account with this company, but have never been contacted. Like, you would be amazed that there's 120,000 people that now have wholesale accounts. And there are heaps of them that do not get any contact from whoever they've enrolled with. And in fact, there are people that have a wellness advocate account who are interested in the business and have never been contacted. So just make sure that people that are in your business, that you keep in touch with them, because you never know when suddenly they wake up and go and read a post somewhere about the compensation plan, and they get really excited about the idea that they could be earning some money out of this business. So keep that contact and keep your community of members close to you in some way. So don't let them fall through the cracks. You know, if people enroll and it keeps growing, you've really got to try and keep in touch with them somehow. Okay, any other questions? Cool. So if that's all right, we'll leave that there. Thank you, everyone, for coming on board. I'll post the recording and get it up on the website. Just to let you know, next Thursday night, unfortunately, we're not going to have a webinar because Tess is actually tied up in a class and I'm going to be sitting at a conference in Melbourne. So I will post up that there won't be one next week. But what we're going to do the Thursday after that is Tess and myself are going to tag team on a webinar around the business opportunity. So we're going to go out broadly to everyone in the downline probably and share with anyone the opportunity who wants to learn about the business opportunity. We're going to run a sort of 45-minute webinar. I've got a series of slides that I've got from Haley Hobson in the States, and we'll run through the business opportunity step by step. Why does it work? What's the compensation? How does it work? How do you start? What support do you get, et cetera, et cetera. So if you've got anyone who's interested in the business opportunity, please invite them along or tag them in the post. So that will be not next Thursday, which is the 16th. It'll be Thursday the 23rd, and I'll get that event posted. And then on the Sunday after that, the 26th of February, we've got in that Sunday afternoon, we've booked a business training group session in Brisbane, similar to what we did in January. So anyone who wants to join us on that Sunday afternoon, it'll be in Paddington, just near the Suncorp Stadium again. I believe that Tess and Catherine Christopheridis are going to do a fairly good session on essential oils and emotions. Both of them are actually in Melbourne tonight doing an advanced course in emotional kinesiology, aromatic kinesiology. And Catherine and Tess will then share on the 26th as part of that training day what they're learning around kinesiology and essential oils and integration with emotion. So 26th is going to be good. So the Thursday night, the 23rd, we'll do webinar, but it'll be basically Tess and I presenting on the business opportunity. We'll open for questions as well and deal with it then. But folks, thanks very much. If there aren't any other questions, I'll put a recording up, and I really appreciate you all joining us tonight. We'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Thanks, Annabelle.